Hi everyone, my name is Jacob with Lemon Remodeling, and today we're in Redwood City where we just finished a beautiful bathroom remodeling project. I'm here with my client Beth, and we're here to get our thoughts. How are you, Beth?
I'm very fine, thank you.
So my first question for you is going to be, what prompted this project in the first place?
My bathroom was 30 years old. The fixtures are shabby. There was some leakage in the shower, and it just dated my home, and it didn't reflect where I live and what I wanted.
So what was the criteria that you were looking for in a contractor before starting the project?
First, I wanted to see their work. The first place I looked was the web, and I looked at websites to look at pictures of finished product. Then I vetted every contractor whose work I liked to be sure they were licensed and had positive Yelp reviews, and just general public opinion was high and they were trusted. Then I brought a few people in that were in my local area. I interviewed all of them, had consultations with all of them. And then I was hopeful to see their finished product and look at their projects. And you were one of the few people that allowed me entrance into a home and let me look at an entire home that was remodeled. And you were very informative, you had great communication, and I felt I could trust you. So that's why I wound up choosing Lemon Remodeling.
So before we actually started construction, the material selection process, going to the showrooms and finding your tiles, your vanity, so on and so forth, what was that like?
Before construction, you drove me around to different showrooms in the Bay Area, and we looked at many types of flooring and wall tile, and we narrowed it down to a few of my choices, and then I brought them home, and you helped me pick out what would be best. When it came to other furnishings, we looked online and found things in the website that would fit my space and match my style. And that was extremely helpful because I've never done a remodel before. And I really didn't know how this would work. And everything was ordered and available to you before construction started. So all materials were in my house.
So before we actually made the final selections on the finished materials, I generated a 3D rendering for you. Was that useful to you at all?
The rendering was very useful because it really helped me visualize what the space would look like. And it was exactly what I thought it would look like. And the end product was exactly like the rendering portrayed the space. It was extremely helpful.
So actually during construction, once we started and the crew was here, what was the process for you like day to day? How did it feel having my crew here working and doing the job?
The crew came as expected, usually around 8 in the morning. I was usually here in the morning to let them in. They worked all day. They totally respected my space, my time. They made sure the place was well protected during the job and that it was cleaned up at the end of the workday. So I had no problems at all with the crew coming and going every day during the length of the project.
How did you feel about the level of communication during the project?
Communication was excellent. I communicated with you almost daily, and if not you, the foreman would connect with me, and we discussed what happened during that day and what was to happen the next day. And if I had any questions, they were answered immediately. There was no waiting. And if I had an issue during a holiday period, which happened when we had heavy rains and something happened outside my home, the crew came on their day off to fix something that was needed dressing. So it was wonderful.
This was actually your first remodel. You never did any remodeling work before. So what was the reality versus your expectation going into it?
I expected there'd be a lot of problems and people wouldn't show up. Sometimes contractors start the job and they disappear. You hear all these terrible horror stories. I never had that worry. Nothing like that ever happened. Everything was on that time frame you promised, and communication was excellent. I never had to worry about the job in any phase.
And how do you feel about the quality of work, the craftsmanship?
The craftsmanship was superb. I saw you at the level, checking everything and measuring the smoothness of all the tiles, make sure they were all even and level, and inspecting every inch of the project yourself, not just the workers and the foreman, but you came by and made sure everything was according to plan and everything was beyond my expectation.
What would you recommend to other people who are thinking about doing a remodeling project? What advice would you give them?
I would tell them to call Lemon Remodeling and have them do your job, because they're not going to get anything better. They're going to get high quality craftsmanship, they're going to get the best materials, they're going to get the best designs, they're going to get the best communication, and they're going to get a final product they love.